Um, One of the things that I think is critical to this conversation is that not every therapist recognizes the legitimacy of alienation as a real issue. And
Right.
that's a kind of an overarching theme to the whole topic, is whether or not the professional recognizes it as a legitimate issue. The next issue that I've seen is that therapists by their nature are bent toward validating the child's statements, and
Mhm.
they're there to validate and to address whatever the child is expressing. They take and they'll tell you under oath, I'm not there to question what the child is telling me. And so they become a voice of confirmation for whatever that child is expressing, whether it's a valid expression or not. And so if you add a therapist to the mix in the middle of the process, you're just creating another validating voice for whatever that child is feeling. And maybe it's good, maybe it's bad, but in the mix of custody litigation, that's problematic. Therapists rarely appear neutral. One of the problems that I run into time and time again is by the time you're getting a child to a therapist, more times than not, one parent has exhibited control over that child in the litigation. Whether they've been given custody in the case or not, they're the ones who are going to take that child to therapy. They're taking the child. Typically, they've met with the therapist. Typically, they've talked to the therapist. The child's going to therapy with that parent every week. And the parent may not be going into therapy, but they're definitely dropping off and picking up. And so as far as that child is concerned, that therapist and mom or dad are in concert with one another, and it creates another validating point. And so neutrality is critical in that process, and it's rare that it's ever followed. I mean, it's rare that you see a therapist who in the middle of a custody litigation says, I want mom to bring one day and dad to bring the other, and that's the way it's going to be.